What's up, guys? Living Lee Life here again. We're going to go over some State of the Union stuff, not really the information, more so the Democrats' reaction. Like, who elected these people? I don't understand why they're acting like some children throwing a temper tantrum because they wanted chicken nuggets over spaghetti last night. Either way, let's get into it and see some of their reactions. So, with this, first off, let's talk about this guy right here. I don't remember his name. Probably don't remember his name because it's not important. I do know this face, though. This is the guy right here who was telling the military that they have the right to deny lawful orders. Let me just go ahead and say it. Back in my day, in the heat of the war, if this guy was to come out and tell some young impressionable private that he could just ignore a lawful order, I'd probably get your teeth knocked out. Whenever I say to go left, you need to just go left. There's no room for that question or uncertainty to go right, especially in a hostile environment like that. I looked into him a little bit. Turns out he was like an Air Force pilot. He flew some type of Air Force planes or whatever, right? But the disconnect that he has from ground troops and the effect that may have caused putting out a video to deny lawful orders from your commanding officer or non-commissioned officer is just outstanding. It's remarkable to me. I actually just did some training overseas. I was in Amman, Jordan just last month, and I met a retired fighter pilot, flew F-18s. He's a real good guy. He admitted that he had a disconnect from the people on the ground. He admitted that his job was boring, no real combat. He flew in the Iraqi campaign, but we had air superiority. There was no fighting the MiG like in Top Gun type scenario. Now, those type of people, they came through for me quite a bit, saved my life. They would either fly over with a show of presence, maybe drop the big boys, some JDAM, whatever, right? We'd call in a strafe, and they helped out a lot, so I'm not taking anything about them. Thank you for your service, man, whose name I don't remember. But the fact that you want to put out a propaganda video like that to these young, impressionable soldiers is just outrageous to me. That's a whole different video. Maybe we talk about that. Leave a comment below if you want to hear my thoughts on why that is such a terrible thing, especially for the ground soldiers in a combat scenario. But I digress. So quick side note, I'm not exactly sure how they have this set up. I'm not exactly sure who these people are, obviously, much like you. I don't remember when this gentleman, for example, got elected, who he represents, or what have you. A lot of these people, in my opinion, there's too many of them. They've also been there too long. They're too disconnected from the people. They ran on some outdated slogan many years ago, and then now they're just being reelected because it's the easier process, right? This guy's already there, we don't know this guy, whatever, and then they get reelected, or they maintain their seat, or whatever. But like this gentleman here, if anyone knows who he is, drop a comment below. I don't know who this guy is, who he represents, what have you. But I will say, anytime Trump makes a comment, a statement, whether it's about his policies, whether it's about America being great, whatever, the Republican side stands up and applauds. In my opinion, I think they're doing an overshow, being overzealous in this. But whatever, they have pride. But good for these people. I don't know this red dress lady or this white dress lady. There's a few other people as well that are standing up and representing. The fact is, you got elected to represent the people in the greatest nation the world has ever seen. You should respect that. You should respect the people that you represent. You should not just be sitting here like a toddler with your arms crossed, like this man here who tells the military not to follow orders. Just complete disrespect for the democracy, which has made your career. You wanted to be a politician. You wanted to face these hard challenges. So step up, be a man or woman, but be a strong representative for the people that elected you. Don't just sit here like a child and act like America's not great. Because we'll get into that later, but let's continue. See, like this guy here, he's standing, he's proud. But who's that guy?
Isn't that a shame? You should be ashamed of yourself not standing up. You should be ashamed of yourself. That is why.
Essentially, Trump just called them out and told them all that they should be ashamed of themselves. I agree. You hold a position of power. You hold a position of the people. You should be proud of the nation that we have created, that you've been a part of for however many years. You've created this nation, regardless of who's in charge. There's an old military saying, you have to learn how to follow before you can lead. There's a reason why you're not the president. You didn't get elected. For whatever reason, you haven't ran, whatever, right? The fact is, he did get elected. Why are you just sitting there and degrading the democracy in which we've all, we're trying to create, we're trying to build on, and you're just going to sit there with your arms crossed and act like a child? That's crazy.
I am also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact.
So I do know this lady. I don't know this lady, right? Or this guy. Look at him. Look at this guy looking smug, like he's hard. Like, what did you do? Why do you deserve to sit there amongst the elite lawmakers of this nation? I don't know. Maybe you deserve to be. Maybe you don't deserve to be. But this lady here, Ilhan Omar, I do know her. She's been in the news, stirring up quite the controversy. The only thing I want to say about that, maybe we make a separate video, but let me just say this. It was an immigrant from Somalia, whether she came in legally, illegally, whatever, it doesn't matter, right? But she came here from Somalia. I actually know some people that are serving in Somalia today, and I can tell you it is not a good nation to be in. Mogadishu is run down and all these other things. But what I started seeing on the media and social medias is that people are talking about how great Somalia is. Let's just be honest. If it was that great, then why did you come here? Did you come here to fix us? Because we have an established democracy, we have an established economic presence in the world, all these things that Somalia just does not have, Is that why you came here? To show us the greatness from your nation? Why did you leave? And then to leave the country and then come here and start protesting or preaching the fact that Somalia is so great, we should be more like Somalia, we should eat bananas and rice, whatever. That's your culture back there. If you missed that, you can go back. You came to America. We have our culture as well. There's a reason why you came. There's a reason why you requested citizenship. You took a test to be here, right? And now you're saying that it's not good? You don't want to be here anymore? Because it's really simple to just go back to Mogadishu or wherever you came from. I'm not really sure. But this lady right here is ridiculous. And I would say an embarrassment to the Democratic Party, as well as just flat out fraud to be sitting here amongst these potentially great leaders.
Serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over.
Wait a minute. Did she just say you have killed America? Gas prices at an all-time low. Peace, almost peace in the Middle East. Reestablished control in Venezuela. Has created tax brackets or tax breaks for the American people. Like, he's done some things. Some things not good. Some things okay. Some things really good, right? But, like, he killed America. Are you sure it's not all these Somalian cultures that were stealing billions of dollars and shipping it back to their country? That's not what has declined the American strength. Like, come on, man. That's ridiculous.
Our country, they're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be.
When did the State of the Union just become this, like, enraged protest? Why are these people screaming at the President of the United States? In other countries, most actual countries in the world, these people screaming at their elected leader would be decapitated.
Ashamed of yourself.
And you see how mad she got? Like, that was just a legitimate, just mad face. Like, you should be ashamed of yourself. And then she's just all mad and pouty. Like, oh, man, I don't understand how the world works. What? look at our Congress, our elected officials here, just chanting it like a frat party, just broing it up like, yeah, USA. Like the epitome of like almost ignorance. The government's about to shut down, guys. And look at them. Look at how they're acting. All of them. That's crazy.
And perhaps most importantly, I'm asking you to approve the Save America Act.
Stand up again. That's insane.
To stop illegal.
See, like this guy right here. How old do you think that man is? I'm not age shaming him, right? Whatever. Does he represent the people inside his district or inside his state? Does he fairly represent the majority of the people? Does he have the same ideas, the same beliefs? Did he grow up with social media? Did he grow up with these cyberbullies? Or did he grow up in an age where, you know, you rolled the cigarettes up in your sleeve and you're like snapping through the halls of your high school while slicking back your hair, like idolizing the Grease characters? I don't know how old he is or how old he grew up to be, but does he represent the new culture? Maybe, right? I don't know. I don't know who he is. I just believe these people should have term lengths, and we should maybe overhaul or look at these individuals to maybe like, hey, brother, it's time to retire. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we get some fresh blood in there, some new ideas, some new acceptance or what have you. Maybe we get some new people that maybe understand some of the new adaptations of society.
Aliens and others who are unpermitted persons from voting in our sacred American elections. The cheating is rampant in our elections. It's rampant. It's very simple. All voters must show voter ID.
Look at this guy. See, this is like a clueless face. He don't know what's going on. He's like tuned out. He's thinking about what he's eating for dinner. Look at this guy right here. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. That's the point. He's not even listening to try to make a change. He's just like, whoop, Trump's an idiot, bro. I'm not going to listen to him. I'm going to sit here and not clap, not proud to be an American. We should all be eating bananas and rice type mentality, right? Like, he just has no idea what's going on here. And then the whole voter ID thing is just ridiculous. He's already contemplating, like, how do we fight this? It's crazy. Like, this lady was over here. She was just recently on her phone. Her phone's unlocked. She's just like playing Flappy Birds during the State of the Union address. It's insane.
All voters must show proof of citizenship in order to vote. And no more crooked mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military, or travel. None. And this should be an easy one. And by the way, it's polling at 89%, including Democrats. 89%.
Yeah, it just makes no sense. Look at this lady. I don't know who she is either. Or like this right here. What flag is that? Sorry for being semi-uncultured. I don't recognize that flag right there. We'll look it up and we'll add it into this. But what is the problem with the voter ID? Like I said, I just came back from overseas. I was in the Middle East doing some training, right? And re-entering the United States, I was in the line, in the customs line. Everybody kind of gets split up. It's like you're waiting at an amusement park. And then as people are entering our country, they must show ID. They either already have an approved visa, they have a passport, green card, they're a U.S. citizen, whatever. Everybody who came here must show an ID. If they're applying in the embassies for a visa, they must have an ID, which is then converted to their visa ID, right? So even the people that come here on visas that don't have a U.S. ID. They still, everyone on this planet essentially has an ID, which makes no sense on why it's such a big deal to make them have one, except that he's calling it the voter ID, which is essentially going to be like that real. It's going to be like the real ID that I believe was passed some years ago because the Obama administration, he had enacted kind of like a clause to where illegal immigrants could get a driver's license. So before you had to have your ID to vote anyways, or you had to have an ID to fly on a plane. But a lot of the U.S. IDs were from non-U.S. citizens. So in order to track them better, terrorist activity, whatever, just coming and going, all sorts of stuff, they established a real ID. So you can't get on a plane without a real ID. You had to go back and basically verify your citizenship to get your ID stamped to make sure that you were either a citizen or not a citizen, right? Do you require additional documentation or not additional documentation? It's kind of the same thing. He's just applying that to voter ID. At least that's how I understand it. Leave a comment below. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'll dig into it more. I just haven't dug into it because it doesn't make any sense to not have to, one, prove your citizenship, prove that you're eligible, prove you're not a felon, prove that you're not, whatever, so that you have the right to vote. It's essentially what the country was founded upon. This is why they put that felons couldn't vote. They would lose their right to vote. Therefore, the illegal immigrants who have no dedication to this country, no citizenship, they have no right to vote. They can't vote somebody in as a lawmaker or the president whenever they have no buy-in to this nation. I don't even understand what the big argument is, except that the Democrats want the votes and whatever. It's just like a big fraud for power and money. It makes no sense.
And even the new communist mayor of New York City, I think he's a nice guy, actually. Speak to him a lot. Bad policy, but nice guy. Just said they want people to shovel snow. They got hit hard. Wants them to shovel snow, but if you apply for that job, you need to show 2 original forms of ID and a Social Security card. Yet they don't want identification for the greatest privilege of them all, voting in America. No, it's no good.
That's because they're going to pay him. They're going to pay him something like $19 an hour to go shovel snow, essentially. But I bet you, before I get to that, yeah, they got to show all these forms of identification and stuff to essentially make sure that taxes and everything, that they have the proper documentation or the proper tax forms and stuff. But with the snow thing, that's crazy, right? So I led many people inside the United States military. And being a leader, part of it is gaining that pride, gaining that respect, gaining that trust. And I promise you, which I have actually done it. So assigned to Fort Drum, New York, we had to clean up the motor pool whenever I first got there. And it snowed it was like 18 inches across the snow pool. So there was just tons and tons of snow, right? We were waiting on a snow plow. The snow plow was taking too long. I brought my guys in. I told them the situation. I asked for their help. I said, we need to hand shovel the snow. It's going to be much faster. We'll get it done. What do you think? They were ecstatic to fulfill this request because me, their leader, they had respect. They had pride for our organization, pride in themselves. So I bet if you had a good leader there in New York City, he could just ask the people, the millions and millions of people that live there, to shovel the snow for free. Pride in their city, pride in their place, pride in their leader. They don't have that. He has to pull people in because nobody wants to work for him. Nobody wants to do actions for him. That's crazy. That right there should be the number one sign to get that man out of there. I know they all voted for him, but he must suck. If he can't ask his constituents, his people, to do him a favor and shovel the snow, instead he has to bring people in from out of state to shovel the snow, that right there is enough. That's all I need to know. Get him out of here. It's trash.
No good. Both Republicans and Democrats overwhelmingly agree on the policy that we just enunciated. And Congress should unite and enact this common sense, country-saving legislation right now, and it should be before anything else happens.
What is this? Look at this guy. Look at this guy here. What? like this. So this lady, right? What is she representing? You, hopefully you made it this far in the video, and if you did, leave a comment below. How does this lady represent you, or your beliefs, or your values, or your culture, or how you've been raised? Right? I don't know how old she is. She's before me, so she grew up in a different world. There's nothing wrong with that. What I'm saying is, are you still connected enough to make major decisions to sway this country one way or the other? This guy here, like, what does he do? How does he represent us in a fair manner? How am I going to respect his decision? Where does he come from? Does he come from where I come? 904 Jackson Kill, Florida? No, probably not, right? Does he come? Has he served in the United States military? Does he have multiple combat tours? Has he been overseas at all, period? Besides the normal vacation spots like Paris or whatever. Has he been in the jungle? Has he been in the Middle East? Has he been in any of these environments that he's essentially trying to boycott Trump for doing these actions? But how does he know what's his life experience to qualify him to make those decisions? That's what I don't understand. That's the whole thing I don't understand about these people just sitting there. Like, who are you? No offense, ma'am, but who are you to just sit there with this super judgmental face on and just bash the elected president of the United States? For what? Because he's not black, or he's not female, or he's not an elected Democrat. Like, I don't understand what gives you the right to just sit there and disrespect the leader of the free world. It's insane. And again, everybody's just sitting there, not engaged. Look, what is this guy doing? What's this guy doing right here? What is this lady doing? This guy, yawning. She's Flappy Birding. You see what I'm saying? These are the people that represent our nation. It's insane.
And the reason they don't want to do it, why would anybody not want voter ID? One reason, because they want to cheat. There's only one reason. They make up all excuses. They say it's racist. They come up with things you almost say, what imagination they have. They want to cheat. They have cheated. And their policy is so bad that the only way they can get elected is to cheat. And we're going to stop it. We have to stop it, John.
This man right here just woke up. Look, he's got bags under his eyes. This is who is about to shut down the nation. Let's talk about that for a split second. We'll probably wrap it up here. These people here, right? These people that we've been pointing out, they're going to shut down the government. They're using you, the people, as leverage, essentially, to try to get their way, throwing this huge temper tantrum. They're trying to defund ICE and get all this other stuff inside the budget bill, and they're so stubborn. They're not talking. They're not trying to come to a common ground. So instead, they're going to shut down the government. Here's the thing, right? Did some research, some quick Googling, whatnot. The majority of people that use the government programs are Democrats. These Democrats are going to shut down the government, which will significantly impact these government programs. I don't know how familiar you guys are, but Republicans historically want less government, right? For example, I don't want my taxpayer money going to the Cuban family to live in a house while they're waiting for their citizenship. I'd much rather them have to figure it out on their own, just like I have to figure it out on my own and what have you. So if I work real hard, I want to keep most of my money. I don't want to work real hard to give my money to the government so the government can create programs for other people. I want to help my fellow man, but I want to help them in my community. There's a difference. The Democrats, they want to make all these programs so that everybody can live in this like socialist society where everybody's equal and doing great and all this other stuff. Shutting down the government is going to shut down those programs. These people are oppressing their own voter class. I don't understand why people aren't more outraged about this. They're sitting here with his eyes half closed, yawning. They're such disconnected, making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, and they're just like, well, I'm not going to come to an agreement because you have to defund ICE in order for us to sign the budget bill. That's insane. These people will suffer. WIC will be shut down, SNAP will be shut down. All these people that depend on the government are going to be significantly affected And for what? Because the Democrats don't want to come to a deal. That's crazy. And then they act like this. The government will shut down and they're just sitting there playing on their phone, Flappy Birding, sleeping, yawning. Just they give no F's about America, and that's the problem. Let's just go ahead. I'm getting heated. The fact is, something's got to change. I believe we got to get these people out, new people in. I do not believe we need to give up on democracy. I do not believe we need to overhaul the Constitution. I just simply believe you need somebody who can stay awake past 2000 in order to make progress in the lawmaking or the future of our nation. Get these older people out of here. They're too disconnected from the world today, right? I know a lot of people who could make great decisions for this country, and I know a lot of people who would be willing to fight and die for this country. Unlike some of these people, let's say this guy, again, I don't know his background. Maybe he served, maybe he didn't. This gentleman, this lady. I'm saying I was willing to put my life on the line for this country. Are they willing to put their life on the line or their paycheck or what have you? Because they're about to cut the paycheck of hundreds, maybe thousands of federal employees. They're about to cut benefits to hundreds of thousands of people. And for what? Leave it at that. Remember, live and lead life. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment below. Let's get Lee into the office 2028. Peace.